sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
In Philadelphia on this Sunday, there will be a lot of emotions, a lot of mixed emotions here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the Marlins and the Phillies. This is Game 3 of the series. Here's one mixed emotion. It's Christmas in July. Try to wrap your mind around that on this 90-degree day here in Philly. Oh, yeah, a little toy drive. Santa's here. The Fanatic is here. Not sure what that is. The Nutcracker, I guess they needed to dust that one off, get it out here in the summer. It's hot as well. The other emotions is the pitching matchup. For Dan Herron and Cole Hamels, it might be their last starts in these uniforms. Obviously, a little more emotion on Hamels' side. He's been here for 10 years. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. Happy birthday. Glad that's the birthday suit that you wore for this ball game.
Yes, this is the one I was talking about. I know you were a little concerned when I said I was wearing my birthday suit today.
All right, take me through the emotions here. Cole Hamels, World Series hero, 10 years of Philly. This might be his last start here at home as a Philly.
Well, anytime you have a guy who's done so much for an organization, it means a lot to the fans, and I'm sure it's going to be emotional for him. This could possibly be his last home start in a Phillies uniform, so it's going to be a big day. 113 and 90 has been his record since he's been here. That's production.
He's had trouble beating the Marlins, however. On the left column, 36 starts. A really good ERA, and that illustrates that the Phillies, especially going back to 2013, just haven't scored runs for him. He has the worst run support in Major League Baseball. Now, on the other side, you've got Dan Herron. Now, Dan Herron hasn't been attached to the Marlins very long, but he's enjoyed his stay. The Marlins have enjoyed having him. He's been a true professional, a leader, and a really nice asset.
Well, Dan Herron is sitting at 7-5, 79 strikeouts, 22 walks. But his record could be even better. He's come out of some games with the lead, and the Marlins have not been able to hold on to it for him.
He's got 5 no decisions, and in 5 no decisions, 2 earned runs or less in those 5. And so Herron gets the ball for the Fish. The Marlins need a win. They've come out of the gates in the second half and lost the first 2 to the last place Phillies. And so the Fish take the field and have to stare down Cole Hamels. It's Hamels, it's Herron, it's the Marlins and the Phillies on a Sunday afternoon in Philly. The Fanatic in full force as well. Glad you're with us. First pitch is right around the corner. Marlins and the Phillies get ready to go on this bright and shiny Sunday at Citizens Bank Park. Many, many cheesesteaks to be served. All right, the Fish getting ready to go, looking for a win after 2 disappointing ball games here in Philly. Jam Lexus brings you the lineup for the Marlins. It looks this way. Ichiro is in the leadoff spot. Martin Prado, a big day yesterday and good numbers against Hamels. Christian Yelich is in left. Casey McGee gets a start at first base. Danny Echeverria is at short. Cole Gillespie is in center field. Miguel Rojas gets a start out at second base. Jeff Mathis is behind the plate for a Dan Herron start. And the Fish are staring out at a really good one. Cole Hamels, the 31-year-old out of San Diego, with a record that doesn't indicate how well he's pitched. Now, Preston, his last 2 starts have not been good ones. He gave up 9 runs against San Francisco. Do you think that the trade talk and all of that has gotten to him?
Well, it can definitely be something that can get into a player's mind, because it's not just you're moving teams, but you're moving your family. You have to find a new place to live. There are a lot of things that go into being shipped from one ball club to another.
Here is Ichiro. Fastball, and Ichiro fouls it back. And this ball game is underway. Pinch a Penny bringing you that first pitch with Prado and Yelich right behind. Hamels get in the start. And a fastball misses in. Now, Ichiro hasn't seen a lot of Hamels. Just 7 at-bats, has a couple of hits. But there are plenty of bats in the Marlins lineup that have lots of at-bats and success against this lefty.
Well, you can see Hamels is trying to stay tight inside with Ichiro there. I look for these Marlins left-handed hitters to try to jump on a fast.
Ichiro lines it to right, hits it well. It's deep, and it's off the base of the wall. Ichiro around first. He'll stop there. The throw to second, a good one by Dominic Brown. Brown played it perfectly. Ichiro around first has to settle for a single. You rarely see that with a guy like Ichiro's speed. So here is Martin Prado with Christian Yelich on deck. We are having some technical difficulties. We'll try to get them fixed. Martin Prado certainly fixed his swing in yesterday's ball game. He was 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles. Ichiro away from first. And a strike to Prado. There you go. Fastball misses away to Prado. 2-1. Prado back off the disabled list. Of course, Miami still hopeful that Giancarlo Stanton and D. Gordon are on track and are back within a couple of weeks. Henderson Alvarez also making his second rehab start tomorrow. Prado off the end of the bat, little pop on the infield. Howard gives way to Cesar Hernandez. There's an out, and here comes the defense. It's brought to you by BMW. Revere, Herrera, Brown, Franco, Galvis, Hernandez, Howard, and Ruiz. And again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Here's Yelich. Christian Yelich takes a fastball out. Yelich in yesterday's ball game hit it hard 4 times, had just 1 hit to show for it. A couple of loud line drive outs to the outfield. Still on a nice roll, and He swings through that breaking ball. It counts 1 ball and 1 strike. Yelich hasn't had success against Hamels, just 2 for 14. He pulls that one foul. The Marlins last night had 10 hits, but they scored just 1 run. They stranded 8. Chad Billingsley and the Phillies bullpen sharp. Tom Kohler pitched well, just 2 earned runs in 6 innings. But right now the ball club's not scoring runs. 3 runs on Friday night to open up this series. Ichiro runs and Yelich hits and rolls it foul. Good jump. Ichiro swiped a bag last night, finding himself in the leadoff spot. Had a good jump. Count 1 and 2. Long look by Hamels. He's working with Carlos Ruiz. The breaking ball misses in. The Sunday crowd still getting settled here in Philly. The Phillies opened the second half with the worst record in baseball, 29-62. They had dropped 5 in a row in 15 of 18, which adds to the sting for the Marlins, having lost the first 2 games of this series. And a throw over to first, and Ichiro is back. You can see the numbers. The Phillies at the very basement. Pete Mackanin, interim manager, taking over for Ryan Sandberg, who resigned. Little tapper back to Hamels, looks at second, goes to first, and gets the out. So Yelich is retired. Here comes Casey McGee with Ichiro in scoring position.
Saw Cole Hamels there take a look at second base, couldn't make the play, turns around, makes the play at first.
I'd like to welcome Preston Wilson back to the telecast. We've had technical difficulties. Hopefully we're ironing it out. Preston very patient. Certainly not the birthday present we wanted to provide with him. But as McGee stands in, you've got Ichiro at second.
I was given the gift of silence for my birthday for 2 outs.
Nice to have you back, partner. McGee fouls it back. Did you know, Preston, that on your birthday, you hit 375 in your career, 3 doubles, a homer, 6 runs driven in. You had hits on 5 of your 6 birthdays in the big leagues.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Your first birthday as a big leaguer, you were 4 for 5 in Boston.
That one I remember.
There you go.
Pedro Martinez started that game.
Good memory. McGee trying to get Miami started. Takes outside.
I believe Pedro started that game, and the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield came in relief.
Well, here are the Marlins trying to scratch out a run in this first inning. McGee's had success at Hamels' expense on this warm day here in Philly. 7 for 22 with a home run. And you've got speed at second with Ichiro. Hamels a spin, but no one was covering. It seems like Ichiro is relishing this leadoff duty. All of a sudden up at the top of the lineup. He's been running, stole a bag last night, had a great jump earlier this inning. McGee pulls it to third. Franco crossed the diamond in time, and Cole Hamels. An inning in the books. It's scoreless. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Kaiser University. For more information, go to kaiser.edu. By AutoNation. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. In Philadelphia, steeped in history. We've seen Steve Carlton. We've seen Mike Schmidt. Richie Ashburn as well. And here come the modern-day Phillies. Brought to you by JM Lexus. Ben Revere, speedy outfielder, finds himself in left. He's up to 100 hits this year. Cesar Hernandez, an on-base machine. Mikhail Franco, Ryan Howard, Dominic Brown in the 5 spot. Odubel Herrera in center. Freddie Galvis, switch hitting shortstop. Chooch, Carlos Ruiz behind the plate, catching Cole Hamels. And here is Revere against Dan Herron. And a first pitch at 84 for a strike. And you see Dan Herron's numbers. As Preston pointed out, he very easily could have 9 or 10 wins on the season with a little better support, both from either the offense or at times his bullpen.
Of all the Phillies in the starting lineup today, Ben Revere is sporting a .391 average versus Herron, with a pretty decent sample size of 23 at-bats.
Revere, a former Minnesota Twin, saw Herron in the American League. And, of course, National League last year, Herron with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Revere has been able to help himself with a hot spell going back into late June. Revere, since that time, leads the majors, a .363 average. So a real nice clip that has pushed Revere's average close to 300. He's not a guy that walks a lot. Busted bat. The bat's fair. The ball's foul. He's one of those leadoff guys that, and D. Gordon is this way. You think about Michael Bourne. If he can hit over 300, all of a sudden his on base is going to be up around 350. And that's exactly what you want for a guy with speed.
Well, a lot of times the offense takes times for guys like that who are speed guys, really good defensive players. A lot of times the offense is the last thing to really kick in. So I look to see him get smarter at the plate, understand himself a little bit better, and the average is going to creep up.
Right now, 336 on base for Revere. Pulls that one foul.
Well, the only thing he's got left to lose now is a pair of shoes. He's lost a bat on the swing before that. He just came out from under his helmet. Got to get him fitted up again.
Revere out of Lexington, Kentucky. Came over from the Twins for Vance Worley. To center. That's Gillespie out there. He makes the catch. All right, fingers crossed. Let's do the defense. It's brought to you by BMW. Preston.
Here is the Marlins defense. Christian Yelich, the Gold Glovers in left. Cole Gillespie gets a start in center field. Ichiro is in right. Martin Prado third. Adeiny Echeverria at shortstop. Miguel Rojas gets a start at second base today. Casey McGee shifts over from third to first. Your battery for today is Jeff Mathis and Dan Herron.
Cesar Hernandez, Phillies second baseman, having a fine season, a .360 on base to go with that .272 average, and a very good defensive infielder. Phillies are really happy with the progress of Galvis and Hernandez. That one pulled foul. So much so it has helped Ruben Amaro's argument that Chase Utley is no longer the everyday second baseman as long as Hernandez continues to perform the way he's performing, which could make for some awkward months ahead for the Phillies when Utley's off the DL.
Well, it's always difficult when you have a guy who's been entrenched in a position like Chase Utley was at second base, to have a new guy come in. The city falls in love with him. It's hard to take him out of the lineup. But when you have a young middle like the Phillies do, with Hernandez, with Freddie Galvis at shortstop, it makes that transition a little easier.
3-1 pitch. Casey McGee over at first base. Gets the ball, gets the outs.
it takes you back to when the St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie Smith was at the end of his run, and Royce Clayton came in. It was a very uncomfortable time because Ozzie meant so much to the St. Louis Cardinals, and to have this young unknown guy come in to take his position, it took some time for people to warm up to Royce Clayton. And I'm not sure they ever really did.
Maikel Franco for the Phillies. Another good young player. Blossoming this year, and Herron misses outside. Franco's got 10 home runs, and that's a challenge for Herron, not only this year but in this ballpark. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's given up 15 home runs. And there's the fly balls, most in the National League. And this obviously a smallish ballpark. In this ballpark, he has yet to win, and his ERA is over 5.5. So that's the setting. You've got Herron and Hamels, and a line drive right to Prado at third, and Herron goes 1-2-3 in the first. It's warm and humid here in Philly. It's 93. Humidity is up. Not much of a breeze. And the forecast is for hot.
That's it, just hot.
What's PC? Is that politically correct and hot? Here's Adeiny Echeverria. Oh, partly cloudy. Thank you. See, I'm not a weather guy, so.
I was hoping you were just going to make up some good ones for it.
Cole Gillespie and Miguel Rojas will follow. Ichiro had a single off the base of the wall in right field, and that was it for the Fish in the first. It's amazing that Hamels has been able to continue the numbers without the support. Last year, he was 9-9, but his ERA was a slender 2.46. And that got him in the Cy Young voting. He was actually 6th in the Cy Young voting.
It happens to two pitchers at some point in their career. The run support just dries up no matter how well you pitch.
Echeverria shoots it in that gap into right field. And a leadoff hit for Miami.
Nice to see Etch going the other way there, just staying with that, taking what Cole Hamels gave him. It didn't really give him a good pitch to drive, just stayed with it the other way, shot the ball through the hole. I like the nice relaxed swing right here. So he didn't try to do too much, just flip the bat head at it, take your single, and hopefully now the Marlins can put a couple of those together, because hitting hasn't been an issue in this series. They've out-hit the Phillies in both contests, but putting them together to create a run has been difficult for this Marlins offense.
Now Gillespie, he has a hit in each game of the series, and he fouls that one back. Well, the formula for scoring runs is get guys on base, get hits, or hit the ball out of the ballpark. Outside of Giancarlo Stanton, the Marlins haven't been able to hit the ball out of the ballpark with any regularity up and down their lineup outside of Giancarlo. That one is hit well into left field, and that's a base hit. Revere cuts it off. Echeverria's not stopping, and he pulls in at third.
Nice swing there by Cole Gillespie. Great base running by Echeverria. You got that play in front of you. You don't need a base coach for that. You got the left fielder moving towards center field. You're going to make it to third base very easily every time on that play. Ball got a lot of the plate. It was down a little bit, but still in the middle of the plate. Cole Gillespie just rakes it out there in the left center field, and Etch just does what you're supposed to do. I got the play in front of me, take my peek. I become my own base running coach in that situation.
And the scouting report on Revere stays the same, his shift from center to left. He does not have a good throwing arm. He certainly can go get it, but a corner outfielder with not much of an arm. And here's Rojas with runners at the corners, and Hamels fires a strike.
Well, it's actually a luxury for the Phillies to have an outfield where the left field isn't so spacious. In Marlins Park, it would be a lot more problematic putting Ben Revere in left field because of the gaps and how far that throw is from left field. Here, it's okay.
Another strike, and Rojas finds himself behind in the count 0-2 with nobody out and runners at the corners. It's been tough for Rojas to get the bat going. 22 at bats, 3 hits. Shoots that one into right field, a base hit. Echeverria scores. Gillespie on his way to third, and he's in there. Well, no problem. He's behind in the count 0-2. And he finds right field. It's 1-0 Miami.
Something that this Marlins offense has been desperately lacking is the ability to string hits together. And they're doing it all over the ballpark. 2 singles to right, a single to left center, and you're still in business with runners on the corners with nobody out.
And right now you need contact out of Jeff Mathis. He swings and misses. Mathis has 8 at-bats against Cole Hamels. You see his season numbers. He's 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts.
You talk about it time and time again. He needs to get a fastball up or a breaking ball. And when I say fastball up, not a fastball up and in. You want it to be away from you. All hitters will tell you those 2 pitches are the easiest pitches to hit in the air. Breaking balls, you see guys pop those up all the time, and fastballs away. Those are the 2 easiest pitches to hit in the air. You want to stay away from that ball down and in, and you really don't want the changeup here.
Well, Hamels has fallen behind 2-1. Hamels' last outing was a mess. It was in San Francisco. He gave up 12 hits, 9 runs, a Hunter Pence grand slam, and he lasted just 3 1/3 inning. And that was coming off a really nice start in Atlanta. 7 shutout innings, no walks, and 6 strikeouts.
Like a change up there, like he pulled the string on him, 84 miles an hour.
I think with Dan Herron on deck, the Marlins will take any type of contact. It doesn't have to be in the air. Even a ground ball that's a double play would produce run number 2. And Mathis strikes out. And so Hamels got the strikeout he was looking for. Now here's Herron.
That's just a nice little breaking ball there. A little more of a slurvy type. Buries it in the dirt. You would like to have some contact with the pitcher coming up, but unfortunately, just couldn't get the job done right there.
Well, Dan Herron 5 hits, not your average pitcher. Shoots a bunt right side. Coming home is the runner. He'll score. Ball is dropped. Out recorded. And the Marlins get creative and execute perfectly. That first and third bunt play, Herron did it perfectly, got it down, forced Howard to field it. Gillespie came home. It'll be a sacrifice, and the Marlins have a 2-0 lead.
That is more of the safety squeeze variety. It's not an all-out suicide squeeze. The runner isn't breaking right away when the pitcher lifts up his leg. What he's doing is reading the bunt. If Howard has to field that ball or Hamels goes all the way to the line like he did, you break and you come from third. If that ball is bunted back to the pitcher, then the runner from first just advances to second and the guy stays at third base. Great base running read over there at third base.
Ball in the dirt. And it gets to the screen, and Rojas ends up at third base. And so a messy inning right now for the Phils. The Fish taking advantage of it.
And that's not an easy play to read for Cole Gillespie down there at third base, because you have to judge the speed of the bunt and the direction of the bunt to decide whether you're going home or not, because you definitely don't want to get thrown out at home on that play.
Ichiro takes a strike. Hamels 7 wild pitches. He and Matt Latos, Tyson Ross on that list. You see Sam Dyson is there as well. Ichiro fouls it. Count 1-2. So 3 hits in the inning, 2 runs. Now 4 hits in the inning. Or excuse me, 3 hits in the inning, 4 hits total. And Hamels, a bit of a rough start here.
Ichiro swinging the bat better as of late. One of the things that Dan Jennings was talking about, his resurgence has been that his bat is staying in the zone a lot longer than it was before. When he was struggling, the bat was in and out of the zone very quickly. Now he's back to that old Ichiro.
Up the middle, backhanded there. Hernandez throws to first. And a nice play by Hernandez prevents Miami's 3rd run and robs a hit. But it's 2-0 Marlins. Top. Time now to tweet your strongest fan photo, hashtag FL DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Variety of ways to stay cool here in Philly. Get the towel Put it on the back of the neck, umbrella, hydrate. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson, joined by some fan in the stands right now. Someone who is on the Marlins and rooting for the Phillies in a prominent spot.
Well, as hot as it is, I hope he stays hydrated tonight. Today,
Howard, a high and deep drive to right field, and that is way out of here. Second deck, up above the AT&T sign. Ryan Howard, 16th.
That ball just worked its way back towards the middle of the plate. I think Herron was trying to crowd him a little bit more, but the ball leaks back out over the plate. And Ryan Howard shows you that when he gets those arms extended, he's still got some of the best power in Major League Baseball. That ball reaching the second deck with plenty to spare.
That's as well as I've seen Howard hit it. And look at that. Nice souvenir and a great memory. That's as well as I've seen Ryan Howard hit a ball in about 3 years.
Well, I'll tell you, he's had a good series, driven in a few runs earlier in the season. Earlier in this series. And that home run, number 350.
Dominic Brown into shallow right. Oh, Miguel Rojas kept going. Ichiro had long since bailed on the play, feeling that Rojas had it under control. And to Rojas' credit, he stayed with it, battling the sun.
One of the issues with guys moving around position to position, Rojas has played third, moves over to second, is when you go back on balls like that, if you call it too early, the outfielder gives up because he doesn't want to run into you, and then you're at the whim of the wind or whatever conditions go on the ballpark. He had way too far to go. I want the outfielder to catch that ball, but when you call it that early, you got to make sure you catch it, and fortunately Rojas did.
Odubel Herrera. And he takes a breaking ball from Herron outside. Well, we laid it out, the issues in this ballpark for Herron. He's a fly ball pitcher, and this is a tiny park. Although that blast would have been out of any ballpark in baseball. That one's driven to right center field. Gillespie won't get that one. And it bounces off the wall. Odubel Herrera has a double. And now he's 3 for 3 in this series.
Well, he's a good-looking young hitter. He's got that high leg kick, stands with that back foot really close to the plate. But he is explosive when that bat comes through the zone. Hands stay nice and tight to the body, doesn't get overextended to the ball, is in the front of the zone, and now he's off and running for a double. That ball was really well struck.
Here is Freddie Galvis. Galvis a hit in the series. And Herron misses up and in. And it's a ball and a strike. Freddie Galvis starting at shortstop on opening day. First Philly shortstop to start on opening day, not named Jimmy Rollins since 2000. Rollins now a Los Angeles Dodger. The last Philly shortstop to start on opening day, not named Jimmy Rollins, a very colorful guy. Was into music, very versatile player. Desi Relaford.
Desi Relaford. I played with Desi in Colorado.
Was my description?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, he was in Seattle for a spell.
Desi Relaford is the guy who used to hit with his batting gloves undone all the time.
Galvis takes outside. It's 2-2. Carlos Ruiz waits. You know, one saving grace for Heron with the fly balls and this ballpark. Phillies lineup not really stocked with home run hitters and power like they usually are, with Utley on the DL and in decline. Dominic Brown doesn't have his power swing going right now. Howard has 16. Franco has 10. Herrera with 4 is the next highest total. It's in the lineup. That one is drilled to right. And Freddie Galvis hits it out. It's his 4th. And the Phillies, with 2 long home runs, have the lead.
This ball is absolutely mashed by Galvis. When you have a little guy like that hit a no-doubter, he definitely got all of it, and definitely not the inning that Darren Heron was looking for when his team gave him a 2-run lead to come back and surrender that lead, and Phillies have taken the lead now 3-2.
Fastball misses up to Carlos Ruiz. So 2 home runs here in the second inning, 3 runs total. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Right now, it's simply an issue of location for Dan Herring. A lot of balls are finding their way to the middle of the plate and in the middle of the strike zone. And when you're pitching in the upper 80s, you cannot have that, because all major league hitters are going to hit mid 80s when it's in the middle of the zone. He's definitely got to get his command a little bit finer.
That one's deep but foul.
And that's a pitch that he's totally content with getting that long strike on. That ball's so far inside, you can't possibly keep it fair. And you hear all the oohs and ahs from the crowd, but Dan Herring is going, thank you. That's a strike that you could do nothing with. It would have been a ball if you took it, but it ends up being a strike for me because you swung at it. Let's go from here.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, for the Marlins starting pitching in this series, Tom Kohler, 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Jose Fernandez, 2 earned runs in 6 innings. But it hasn't been good enough. It's out. And so here's Hamels now. "37 pitches already for Dan Herring, and Chuck Hernandez is on his way out." So a tough run right now. Ryan Howard, an upper deck home run, and then a long homer by shortstop Freddie Galvis. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Hamels. Up the middle, into center. Fifth hit on the season for Hamels. Of all the scouts that are here from a variety of teams, to see Hamels, to see Herron, to see these two starting pitchers, what they've seen in 2 innings, 5 runs and 8 hits combined, and neither looks particularly sharp.
Both seem to be struggling with location, command.
Here is Revere. The good news is for either team, it's warm, the ball's jumping, you got a shot. To right, that's well hit, and it's in the corner. Ruiz will score. Hamels to third. He'll stop there. And the Phillies make it 4-2. Ben Revere muscles up and doubles home a run.
Again, breaking ball that hangs right there in the middle of the plate. Ben Revere has a good average against Dan Herron. Came into this game hitting 391 and adds to it right there with RBI double. If there was any consolation here, maybe you got Cole Hamels running the bases and you get him a little tired for when he gets back on the mound.
This is a game that Eagles coach Andy Reid would like, right? Up tempo. Or excuse me, Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Rojas has got it flipping on over to first in time to get the out at first, and the Phillies chase home another run. I mean, Chip Kelly, this is it. This is up tempo. Runs are scoring. Guys are flying around the bases. Neither pitcher's able to get outs.
Do you consider a mound visit a timeout?
Yeah, well,
so the Marlins have spent one of their timeouts already.
Yeah, they're out of timeouts this inning. So Hernandez chases home a run. Here is Franco now. Michael Franco. He lined out back in the first. The first was a 1-2-3 inning for Dan Herron. Here, though, in the second, 5 hits, 4 of them for extra bases, 2 homers, 2 doubles. And if this continues, the guy heckling Herron is going to run out of breath.
You know, I bet he goes home and doesn't say a word.
In the air. And it's Prado who makes the catch. And the Phillies put a 5 spot on the board.
start our tour for the day. It is Ashburn Alley. It is named after former Phillies center fielder and Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn. You're going to be able to find a ton of Phillies memorabilia here, but the best part about it, you're going to be able to find some really good food. One of the fan favorite items is those crab fries. You can get those at Chickies and Pete's, and luckily it is early enough in the game right now where I can jump into line and try one of those fan favorites, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Guys, there's going to be a ton of food on today's tour. If you're lucky, maybe I'll find something to bring up to the booth.
All right, Jessica, we look forward to that. Preston, you had the food tour here, was it a couple seasons ago?
Yes, 2 years ago I did the whole circuit. They had the Federal Chicken and Donuts. I ate at Bull's Barbecue out there. Tony Luke cheesesteak and the Chickie and Pete crab fries.
Well, there you go. The Marlins right now don't need crab fries. They need runs, and they need to stop the Phillies. It's 5-2. Hamels delivers outside. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, and Casey McGee in the third. Hamels gave up a pair of runs in the second. Miami has 4 hits, all of them singles, which is in stark contrast to the Phillies, who have 5 hits, 4 of them for extra bases, 2 homers, 2 doubles. Prado fouls it back. Full count, 3-2. Whoever trades for Hamels, if someone does, they will have to have some deep pockets. Three-two coming to Martin Prado. It's a very special day today here in Philadelphia. As Prado sends that one into center field. That's going to be a base hit. It is Preston Wilson's birthday today, and the Fanatic has arrived in the booth.
This is a big day. This is something that I've always wanted to do right here.
Very nice.
So
Very
if
nice.
you get a stand up, put it here.
Very nice. Preston has turned 29 again.
Well, he's just happy I'm up here now so that I can't steal his keys anymore.
I know, right? But the one thing the Fanatic has to be appreciative on your birthday, in your birthday suit, a Fanatic colored tie.
That's right.
Very nice.
One of the best all-time and one of my all-time favorites is seeing his intros when they do the teams come out and he does the lineup.
Well, my favorite is the dancing on the dugout. That's going to send Prado to second. Ruiz picks it up. Dancing on the dugout, and you never get anyone to bite with the, that one.
Still tries, though.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right, well, happy birthday. What a surprise.
Yes, this was awesome.
What a cool
Thank
thing.
Wait, what? I think I just swallowed that party favor. I need a mint.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you got some green fuzz on your mouth too, by the way. Prado's at second. Yelich is up. And a strike to Yelich. It's 1-2. Well, that broke up the monotony, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did.
How about that? Marlins need to rally, and the Fanatic pays a visit to you. I will say one thing that was impressive was the Fanatic's hygiene, because it's 95 degrees and it's humid, and he's been out in his Fanatic mobile, and he smelled just fine.
I was definitely a little bit surprised by that because the amount he's very high active. He just runs around. He's very interactive with the crowd, and it did not have that very sweaty smell that you would think a really heavy, thick costume like that would have.
So the tip of the cap to the fanatic, and happy birthday. And I'm glad we got your mic fixed, by the way.
Yes, I thought I was going to almost get a day off for my birthday with the way we were having audio issues at first. But the guys in the truck worked hard and got it straightened out.
Well, that one bounces up in front of the plate. Now, what do you see from Hamels right now in terms of his ineffectiveness?
He just doesn't have command right now. The stuff looks good. The velocity looks fine. He threw Mathis a couple really good breaking balls, but it looks like he's having trouble putting the ball where he wants to against most hitters.
Which is usually not the case, but it was against the Giants. Yelich lines that one into the seats. I think Christian Yelich, and I would bet you every player in a Major League uniform would raise their right hand if asked, would you like the protective netting to stretch above the dugouts and down the right field line? As many balls as Yelich hits that way hard. Pitch is in. Am I misreading that?
I think you're absolutely correct. I think people need to be a little bit more protected down the lines. They do it in Japan. They do it in batting practice in Washington. They put a net up, but then they take it down for the game. And especially with the cell phones and the digital devices, everyone's always looking at that. And the velocity of the ball off the bat, it's just such a high speed.
Fouled at the plate. A 9-pitch at bat so far for Yelich. That's one of the things the Marlins missed about Yelich when he was injured and then trying to come back from that injury and find his groove. Where at bats like this, Yelich has always been a high pitch per plate appearance guy. You see the Major League average. Finds himself in the 3 spot with Prado at second and nobody out. Oh, that's a great at bat, and Yelich lines it into center field. Round third, Prado coming home. He will score. A 10-pitch at bat. That is textbook Christian Yelich.
And also illustrative of the fact that Cole Hamels cannot locate the ball right where he wants to right now. He had Yelich in that bat and couldn't put him away. The balls that he was trying to set him up with, Yelich would foul him off, or he'd miss with it so badly that Yelich didn't even offer, and then couldn't get that pitch where he wanted. Yelich, base hit back up the middle. Marlins scored another run to add on after that big inning that the Phillies had in the bottom of the second.
So it's 5-3, and here's McGee. Ed Svita is our statistician / baseball historian, and has a good point in that Hamels has thrown very few pitches from the windup because both leadoff men, now all 3 leadoff men have been on, Ichiro, Echeverria, and Prado. And so right from the jump, he's been in the stretch. Runner goes, McGee lines it, foul. Marlins doing a little of little running, little hitting. It's 1-1. And once again, the Marlins, as they did the first 2 games, are out hitting the Phillies. 6-5 advantage there. Prorated season ticket plans are still available. Of course, you got the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Nationals coming up in the second half. You get all the benefits becoming a Marlins Fish Family member. Marlins.com/2015 tickets. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call. New bat from McGee. Yelich at first. Hamels' 58th pitch, and a throw over to first. You get the sense, with all the buildup of Hamels and Herron, and the scouts here to watch them, and it may be the last start for each in their respective uniforms, that they might not be here in this game long. McGee, right center. Herrera, a converted infielder out there in center, makes the catch. I mean, the pitch count is high already. It's the 3rd inning, and he's at 58 pitches. And the follow-up, he's thrown only 16 pitches from a windup. As a hitter, different look. Guy from the stretch, guy from the windup, especially a guy like Hamels.
Sometimes, yes. The rhythm is a little bit different, but also some guys don't have the same stuff out of the stretch as they do out of the windup. The breaking ball is nasty. The fastball doesn't have as much zip on it.
Yelich running, and Echeverria hammers it in the corner. Into the wall it goes. Yelich around third, on his way home, and he's going to score. The Marlins again putting it in motion, putting it in play. Echeverria's second hit. And this fast break baseball game continues at a breakneck speed. It's 5-4.
Echeverria did a good job at first at bat, going the other way. This one, he drives the other way. Good extension, good balance. And you know your guy hits the ball well when he hits it opposite field and it doesn't slice foul. That means he caught it out front, really squared it up, and drove that ball the other way. Great at bat, great swing by Echeverria. There have been a lot of hard hit balls in this game so far.
By both sides. Gillespie now. He singled. That was in the second. So Miami has banged out 7 hits. They've got 4 runs. 9 runs, 12 hits, and only 13 outs so far in this ballgame. So much for focusing on the pitching matchup at the outset of the telecast. But the backstory is Hamels has had trouble against the Marlins, winning games against the Marlins, and Herron has had miserable luck in this ballpark. And so far, the form is holding on both sides. And that's the damage so far.
And of the Marlins' 7 hits, all 7 of those balls were hit really well.
Gillespie swings and misses. That was one of the frustrating things for the Fish last night. They had a lot of hard hit outs early against Chad Billingsley, who went just 5 innings and did not give up a run. One and 2.
And for the Phillies, they only have 5 hits, but they have 6 hard hit balls already.
Hamels has not walked a hitter. He chases Echeverria back. Into center field, that's a hit. Echeverria around third, and he will score. And Miami has tied the game at 5.
Both pitchers struggling with command. That ball ends up in the plate. Actually, it looked like it was pretty close to where the catcher was setting up. Oh, but that ball just didn't dive at all. It stayed pretty flat. And Cole Gillespie rakes a single in the center field, and Echeverria is able to score to tie this ball game up at 5-5. Did not see this coming.
And I don't think Pete Mackanin did either. You rarely see this in baseball, where a manager makes a trip to the mound and no one's up in the bullpen. And so Mackanin just wants maybe to check on Hamels, A, to see if he's all right, B, to just get a temperature on what the heck's going on out there.
The operative word being temperature. I think that was definitely one of those mound visits where you go out there and say, hey, what's going on out here? How are you feeling? First of all, are you okay? Is your health okay? Okay, well, why are we not executing? That's how that conversation goes, because if not, he sends a pitching coach out there. But it sends a message when the manager goes out there.
Gillespie has 2 hits, and now Rojas, he had an RBI single. The Marlins finding success with this no-huddle offense.
Yeah, maybe they're an up-tempo team.
Up-tempo.
Got to use this pitch clock in a different way. Use it as a play clock.
Well, if that's the case, the Phillies have scored on a couple of deep balls, and the Marlins have matriculated up in the field.
A little bit more of a West Coast style offense, I'd say.
As Hank Stram used to say. Pitch misses in.
I think it's pretty accurate. They're more of a dink and dunk kind of offense, and
that's all right.
Yeah, and they're throwing the deep ball for the Phillies.
Phillies have hit 2 long home runs. The Marlins have 8 hits now. All but one of them singles. Runner goes. The Marlins have hit and run a lot with Hamels.
They must have something on Cole Hamels as far as reading his move. Ichiro had a great jump early in the game. We saw Yelich take off. Now Cole Gillespie. They have something that they're keying on him that's been a team effort to make sure they pay attention to, because those are 3 really good jumps, and it's only the 3rd inning against a lefty. That tells me they've spoken about it and they have something on him.
Rojas fouls it off. Rojas knocked in a run in the 2nd. Miami has 4 hits and 3 runs here in the 3rd. And Hamels' pitch count has rocketed up to 68. We talked about his start against the Giants, a Hunter Pence grand slam, 9 runs, 12 hits, and 3 1/3 innings. He's gone 2 1/3 here, 5 runs, 8 hits. A foul tip, and Ruiz did not hold it. So this is one of those ball games where if you're supposed to mow the lawn today, you could probably get her done and get back here in the 4th or the 5th and not miss a whole. You might miss a little bit, but there'll be plenty of ball game left. And finally, the Phillies have Justin DeFreitas out in that bullpen. And a throw to first. Gillespie is back over. Or if you're hanging out by the pool, just flip open your iPad, your tablet, dial it up on MLB.tv. Rojas drives it to center field, hits it well. Herrera back is there, and on the track he makes the catch. That's the farthest ball the Marlins have hit. Rojas at about 395 feet to straightaway center.
Well, neither one of these starters today are missing a lot of barrels. There's a lot of loud contact being made. That ball was hit really well. Speedy young center fielder made a nice play to catch it.
Mathis swings and misses. And a fastball up. So if you're just joining us, it's 5-5. Cole Hamels and Dan Herron both have been ineffective. That's the bad news. The good news for both teams is it's 5-5. It's dead even. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Ruiz's throw not in time, and Gillespie swipes a bag.
When I see a team having the success of getting these great jumps that the Marlins have gotten today, it's usually not the foot. Usually it's something else that he's doing before he picks up his foot that he's keying off of. I remember Tom Glavine. You could steal off of him by how he moved his glove. If he moved his glove up, he was going home. If he moved his glove a little bit back into the side, he's going to first. So there are keys that happen that aren't necessarily lower half, and it allows you to get those huge jumps that these Marlins base runners are getting right now. And now that Tommy's not pitching anymore, I can say that out loud. But I had him for years.
Is that a secret that you shared with your teammates?
Yes. I told the guys on the team. Yeah, of course. I want them to run too. They get in scoring position, I get to drive them in.
But you were never a teammate of Glavine's, were you?
No.
Hamels has given up 15 stolen bases. That is 5th most in the National League. He's gone 3-2 on Jeff Mathis, who struck out back in the second. Dan Herron's on deck. Little tapper out towards short. Galvis comes to get it, gets the out. Inning over, but Miami draws even with 3 runs. Wild game. It's 5-5.
And the Phillies. The ballpark tour continues, and right now I am hanging out by Phillies Memory Lane. It's located behind center field, and this is where you can come and learn all about the history of Phillies baseball. It goes all the way back to the 1800s and takes you all the way through present day. And one of the cool facts about this area, 2 of the longest home runs that have ever been hit in the ballpark have landed right here. The 2 Phillies players that hit those home runs, Ryan Howard and Chase Utley.
Well, there are all the great plaques out there, Jessica. You see Carlton, Larry Bowen, Mike Schmidt. You kind of grew up in the National League East with your father and his connection with the division. Who was your favorite Philly?
My favorite Philly, really for no other thing than his name was Ivan de Jesus. I used to love the shortstop Ivan de Jesus. He wasn't that great of a player, you know, a good glove guy, didn't really hit much, but I used to love that name for some reason.
Have you spoken with Ivan de Jesus Jr., who's in the league now?
I haven't. I hope to run into him, though. But I really, as far as players that I really love, Mike Schmidt, of course. Great Mike Schmidt. Juan Samuel had some great years here.
How about Von Hayes?
Von Hayes. Big, tall, lanky lefty. Really wide stance.
Speaking of wide stance, Ryan Howard's up. And he cracks one to right. It's deep. It's down the line. But it's foul. Well, for Dan Herron now, the challenge is keeping the ball in the ballpark. And Ryan Howard with a tape measure shot in the second. Warren Henry drive of the game.
You saw the glove set on the inside corner of the plate. That ball ran back towards the middle. When you see the catcher have to reach for it, it's not a good thing.
Howard lifts that one. Shallow left. Echeverria. Yelich calling. Etch hits the deck. Nice work out there. So there's an out to start the third. Dominic Brown comes up. I will say this for the Marlins and for Dan Herron. One of the things, having watched Herron pitch for almost 4 months now, when things go wrong, and they certainly have gone wrong, he's given up 5 runs. He has the ability to figure it out and get back in control. It'll be a challenge, certainly, the way the ball's jumping and in this ballpark to do that. But it's 5-5, and so we'll see if he can kind of dial it back in. McGee and Rojas, and it's Rojas who makes the catch. Because you can see the Phillies swings just in Howard and Brown. It's back foot, trying to lift, trying to elevate, trying to hit the ball out right now.
Well, Herron is known to be a fly ball pitcher. And when you have a day where a fly ball pitcher is missing his spots, it leads to offense. But Dan Herron has the ability to understand what he's doing wrong and to correct it in the dugout before he goes back out there that next inning and make those little fine-tuned adjustments.
Speaking of going back out there, I guess the question is Cole Hamels going back out there, because Justin DeFreitas is in the Phillies bullpen. Hamels has thrown 76 pitches, 38 his last inning.
That's a very stressful inning. 38 pitches in 1 inning. Usually that's heavy for 2 innings. But to have that type of workload in 1 inning, if he does go back out there, he's not going to be out there long. But DeFreitas is standing around like he's ready to go. He's not doing that speedy warm-ups.
Center, that's hit well. Gillespie back at the track, makes the catch, crashes into the wall. Not quite Aaron Rowan, but a nice play in center field by Cole Gillespie. And a 1-2-3 third, which ends 400 feet from home plate. He's got 2 hits, a run, an RBI, a stolen base, and a nice catch to finish off that 3rd inning. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Sign up for free Marlin emails and text alerts so you can receive year-round Marlin coverage, offers discounts, and more. Marlins.com, become an insider today. I guess if you can't get into the team store at Marlins Park and say hi to Robin and get all that the cool team stuff that's there, Marlins.com is your next best bet. Well, end of the road for Cole Hamels. If it is his last start as a Philly here in Philadelphia, it's an odd one, isn't it? Odd way to finish. Here's DeFreitas. A knee-high fastball to Herron for a strike.
Yeah, that's an early exit, but I understand why they took him out. That was a very high-stress inning.
That one fouled back. Counts 0-2. And DeFreitas misses outside. So what else are you going to do on your birthday, by the way?
I am going to sit in the airport and wait for a flight home.
Oh, you're going to celebrate it tomorrow then, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Well, you've been kissed by the fanatic. And now everybody here would like to say happy birthday. Here it is.
Wow, you guys.
Becky, thank you. Ed, thank you. And here you go, your own cream pie. Now,
oh, that is awesome.
We made sure to bring it not when the Fanatic was here, because if we brought this and the Fanatic, that pie would have been on your face.
Yes.
And the Fanatic's head. So there you are. No, make a wish.
All right. Done.
Go ahead. Very nice.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, Preston Wilson.
You guys are too sweet.
Ichiro into center field, and the hit parade continues for the Fish. You must have wished for Ichiro to get his 2,895th hit, because that's exactly what that was. He's 2 for 3 in this ball game.
Ichiro looks like he's shaking off that slump he was in earlier. The bat staying in the zone longer. You're starting to see better swings. You're starting to see that contact more often through the middle of the field. Drove that ball in his first at bat over the head of Dominic Brown and right.
And now here's Martin Prado. To Freitas from the stretch. Marlins have been running a lot today. And a breaking ball for a strike to Prado. Yeah, Ichiro now is 8 for his last 17. And that was coming off that long 0 for the longest in his career. Prado, that's a self-defense swing. Up and in, just get something on it.
Yeah, that's just try to save your life right there. That's, yeah. And right there, you got guys in the dugout yelling, "Get off me, ball!" What happened? Where'd it go? Everybody all right? You good?
Yeah,
you good?
He got it on the backswing. He got a piece of Ruiz. He checked on him. DeFreitas over to first. So the Hamels-Heron matchup has become Heron-DeFreitas. And Ichiro has a healthy lead at first. Pitch is up. Prado's numbers against DeFreitas. Many games, obviously, as a Brave in this division, though with Prado, his second stop in the National League East after detours, so to speak, to Arizona and the Yankees. Nice to have him back and healthy. There was a scary moment yesterday on a short ball coming in from second. He had to flip it on the move and ended up tumbling and landing right on that right shoulder. But he was able to roll through it with no injury.
Something most people don't think about is, as an athlete, you actually have to learn how to fall and not injure yourself.
So yeah, Ichiro's 5 away from 500. He bluffs, and Prado fouls it back. 5 away from 500 with his 2 hits, 2,895. So he's 5 hits away from 2,900 in his career. And whatever adjustments Ichiro has made, and he's not real open about that. They have got his swing right back online because he's hit the ball on the nose a lot in his last few games.
If there's one thing that's going to happen, Ichiro is going to work. And he's legendary for his workout regimen and the amount of time that he puts into perfecting his craft, whether it be defense, offense, base running. He's always looking to get better and be better.
I asked a lot of players, what'd you do over the break? Many went home. Some just hung out in Miami and took it easy. I asked Ichiro, what'd you do over the break? And he looked at me like I was nuts. And he said, I worked out. I said, you worked out? He said, yeah, every day at the ballpark. He was at Marlins Park every day of the All-Star break. Working out, hitting, running, throwing.
He's amazing. He's nonstop. And having him in your locker room, in your dugout, to have these young players to see that that's what it takes to achieve that type of excellence, there's only positives that can come from it.
Ichiro runs, pitches down, throw to second, and he is out. Tag on the helmet, and Ichiro caught by Carlos Ruiz.
Had a good pitch to run on. Looked like a changeup or a breaking ball down in the zone. Just a good throw by Ruiz right there, right on the helmet. Just catch and tag. That's it. Catch and tag.
By the way, that was a banana cream pie that you got there.
I appreciate you sampling it with me. I know that ruined your diet. I mean, I've been watching you eat yogurt and granola and I think some tree bark or something I've been watching you eat the whole time we've been here. To see you crack your diet and enjoy a piece of birthday pie / cake with me, it means a lot.
Well, you never know. This is going to be a long ball game, so buckle in. I think the cheesesteaks are here in about 3 innings. Now Yelich. Good at bat by Prado. He's at first. And Yelich takes outside. Yelich bounced back to the mound and then cracked an RBI single in the 3rd. This already his 3rd at bat. Cole Hamels went the first 3. 8 hits, 5 runs.
These days are great days when you're swinging well. If you're not swinging well and you got your 3rd at bat coming up in 4 innings, you're saying, guys, let's slow down a little bit. You know?
Well, Yelich would be one of those guys that is swinging well, having watched him over the last 5 weeks. Missed on a slider.
With the exception of the pitcher, everybody in the lineup has hit the ball harder at least once, except Casey McGee and Jeff Mathis today. So the whole lineup pretty much has been squaring up the ball.
Two and two.
Yelich is such a good young hitter. He doesn't have many of what I call panic swings. He always seems to track the ball well, so you don't see him take that swing where it looks like he was just uncertain. When he was injured, you saw some of that. But now that he's back to himself, everything looks comfortable. The swings are comfortable. The takes are comfortable. There's no panic.
Does searching for the ball equate to, some guys will say, feeling for the ball?
Well, sometimes feeling for the ball is when a guy is trying to be too cute with, like he wants to hit the ball to right field, and instead of driving it to right, he tries to kind of fillet it over there, tries to manipulate the ball with the bat instead of using his normal swing and just catching the ball deeper in the zone. For him, his setup is so consistent that he's not really late with his setup often, and that's where that panic swing comes from.
Pitches in, and Yelich, seeing the ball so well, walks. It's 2 consecutive walks. And that sets up for McGee with 2 outs. Let's watch. Ruiz's setup out. Pitch was back in, and it did catch a little bit of the plate. But Yelich on his way to first.
I've always been a proponent of a strike is a strike. But I understand why umpires miss those types of calls when they're set up with the catcher and the catcher has to reach across his body and backhand the ball. That's not an easy thing to judge. So, yeah, that was a strike in the strike zone. But when you miss the target that much, that's asking the umpire to do a whole lot to get that call right.
McGee 0 for 2. And he pops that one out into center field. Herrera's there, makes the catch. Marlins get a hit, couple walks, but leave those runners, and still 5-5.
It is the city of the Philly cheesesteak. And if you're going to get one at the ballpark, then you have to come to Tony Luke's. They have the reputation for having the best. And not only is Tony Luke's famous for their cheesesteaks, also back in April of 2014, Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run that traveled 470 feet and landed right here. But getting back to those Philly cheesesteaks, they say that Tony Luke's has the best. Well, I am about to find out.
You know, one of the things I like about Jessica is that she doesn't hesitate to get out there, get after it, roll up her sleeves, experience each city, each ballpark. Dan Herron now, bottom 4. That home run she was talking about by Stanton is over those seats in deep left center, and it landed right in front of Tony Luke's. And it was perfect symmetry because a week earlier he homered over the Budweiser bar at Marlins Park. So in one home run he had Budweisers for everybody, and the next home run he went out for a cheesesteak.
You're supposed to be safe out there in the concession area beyond the seats in the outfield. You're supposed to be safe out there. Everybody knows when you're enjoying a delicious cheesesteak, you're not paying attention to the ball.
Or your cholesterol, for that matter. Ball in the hole. Echeverria's got it. Quick release and a catch and tag by McGee. Nicely done on both ends. Speedy runner, and so Etch didn't really have time to set his feet or gather himself. It was get it and flick it, and McGee helped him out tremendously.
This is a great play by Etch, coming and playing that ball. It wasn't exactly a short hop, so he really had to make sure he got it, got rid of it quickly. Casey McGee does the right thing, leaves the bag. He doesn't try to stay on the bag and reach for that play. Leaves the bag, is able to protect himself while tagging runner, which sometimes is tough. I've seen a lot of injuries over the years. Cliff Floyd, our old cohort, had a very bad injury on that type of play.
Derek Lee broke his wrist as well, didn't he? Or his thumb?
Yes.
That's unfortunately for first baseman, that's a I want to say it's a common occurrence, but it happens, and it's a danger. Meanwhile, Dan Herron has retired now 6 in a row. As Carlos Ruiz awaits a 1-1. And that's what we were talking about. Herron has the ability, after damage is done or something goes wrong, to gather himself, make the adjustments. He's an extremely cerebral pitcher. Smart. And he strikes out Ruiz. And that is his first strikeout of the ball game.
I like what he did. You see that little pause in the windup? Lets him collect his balance. And he incorporated that. It was part of a drill when he was pitching with St. Louis. And he kept it because he felt like it kept him gathered, let him get balanced, and kept everything in sync. And he was able to pinpoint that ball on the corner right there.
Now DeFreitas takes the at-bat with 2 outs here in the 4th. 5-5 ball game. That one's going to find the seats. Phillies saw the Marlins scratch out a couple runs in the top of the 2nd. And the Phillies came out swinging. They blasted their way to 5 runs, 2 homers, 2 doubles, and took a 5-2 lead. Now that's a nice quiet spot. Trying to keep cool. So it was 5-2 Phillies. The Marlins bounced back with 3 runs, extending and essentially knocking Hamels out of the game. And that's where we sit at 5-5 on a very hot day. Now, as hot as it is and as humid as it is, it could always be hotter. And if this game were played at the old Vet, it would be a miserable day with the artificial surface, all the concrete.
It was so hot on those turf fields. There were a few Philly here in Veterans Stadium, Cincinnati, St. Louis.
Yeah, the 2 Midwest, Kansas City and St. Louis in particular.
You could see the heat waves on the turf when you're sitting in the dugout.
How about Dan Herron? A 1-2-3 third, a 1-2-3 fourth. He is retired 8 straight. It's 5-5. Is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. Buy Checkers, mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5. Checkers, it's in the bag. And by Pixels in theaters July 24th. And by USAA, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years. In Philadelphia, the Phillies and the Marlins and the heat. Oh, the humidity. Sorry. Here's Echeverria. couple hits for Echeverria in this one. Singled and scored in the second. Hit and run double. Don't see that much, but he smoked one down the right field line to drive in a run, and he also scored in the third inning. Echeverria goes down. That one off his foot. If you're just joining us, this Hamels-Herron matchup kind of dissolved into a flurry of runs. In an inning and a half, there were 10 runs scored. Hamels, with a high pitch count left. Herron has been able to regroup, get it back together, and has gone through 4. Justin DeFreitas into his second relief inning. And he throws a fastball by Echeverria. That brings up Cole Gillespie. Miguel Rojas is scheduled as well on Preston Wilson's birthday. 5 career homers at the Vet, as long as we're going down memory lane with you. This ballpark opened back in 2004. 33 years at the Vet. And then on to Citizens Bank Park. The many years of Phillies baseball. The golden age, so to speak, has kind of sunset here, as I think everybody in Philly is girding for a major rebuild, or hoping for a major rebuild. A 2008 World Championship, beating the Rays in the mud and the rain, and then 2009 back in the World Series and losing to the Yankees. And for a team whose history stretches back to the 1800s, that World Series championship significant, just the second World Series championship. Even with Grover Cleveland Alexander and Richie Ashburn and Jim Bunning. It was that 1980 team with Tug McGraw finishing it on the mound. And in 2008, in similar fashion, right, it was Brad Lidge on his knees. Michael Jack Schmidt, who is here today in the broadcast booth for the Phils.
I know the contracts that the Phillies have been an issue for them, but when you win a championship, it's okay. You feel better about it. The teams who go out and splurge and get pieces, spend money on them, and they don't get a championship, or at least to the World Series, you don't feel as okay about having to deal with contracts after that run is over.
Gillespie is out. It's a good point, because essentially the remnants of those 2 World Series trips were large contracts and still some success. I mean, the Phillies were postseason teams after that. But as those contracts wore on, and some were signed after that, Hamels in particular, you got Ryan Howard's and his contract. Howard is due $25 million through next year. Hamels, who's signed through 18, and if he's healthy, that contract could extend through 19. Of course, Chase Utley. Club has a buyout for next year. Utley is about 250 plate appearances away from having next year guaranteed, and at this point of the season with him on the disabled list, that's probably not realistic. Cliff Lee, who's kind of been incognito, and it feels like his career might be over. Remember Roy Halladay retired. So the challenge for the Phillies is get some of their young talent up here. Aaron Nola will start on Tuesday, one of their top pitching prospects against the Rays. You hope that the Phillies have had, I mean, if you're a team like the Phillies, or even the Marlins for that matter, you have to make those first-round draft picks count and make those early-round picks into guys that are cornerstones in your organization. The Marlins, of course, with Jose Fernandez, Christian Yelich as first-round picks. Giancarlo Stanton was a second-round pick, but the Fish have been successful with that.
Even though the Phillies don't have the pitching to go along with it, offensively and position players, they seem to have a pretty decent crop of young, exciting ball players that are on the rise.
Pitches in from DeFreitas. Miguel Rojas with a count at 1-2.
You got Herrera in center, the combination up the middle of Cesar Hernandez and Freddie Galvis, Michael Franco at third base, all look like really good young players with a lot of talent.
Into center field. Second hit for Miguel Rojas. And here comes Jeff Mathis.
Well, you could tell Rojas has seen the ball pretty well today because he was taking some pretty hefty swings.
He had a big hit against Hamels that produced Miami's first run in the second on an 0-2 pitch. And remember, he's the one that hit the ball out to the 401 sign. That finished the third. That might be the best ball that the Marlins have hit.
And the ball is carrying today. We've seen outfielders start a little slow on balls and have to really turn it on to catch them.
Mathis fouls one back and out of play.
We've seen infielders call for balls early and end up ranging pretty far out in outfield. We saw it on the second base side with Rojas early in the game with Ichiro over there, and then we saw it just an inning ago with Echeverria and Yelich over in left field.
Mathis an 0 for 2 on a day where the Marlins have accrued 10 hits already. And this game just about halfway through. Ball and a strike. Mathis down the left field line, and it's foul. Around baseball, around the National League East. The Mets are in St. Louis, and that's a scoreless ball game. It's now in the fourth. Braves play the Cubs tonight. Jake Arrieta against Shelby Miller. I'm not sure what's up here.
Oh.
Miguel Rojas is coming off the field, and he looks dizzy and is being helped into the clubhouse. So Donovan Solano is in the game. Ball in the dirt. So the Marlins have Solano now in Rojas's spot. I mean, you would assume you're not going to pinch run Solano and then take him out of the game. So that puts Solano in the game here in the fifth.
Yeah, you have to. And I don't know, it looked like he was feeling a little woozy. Maybe he got a little overheated out there.
And that one gets away from Howard. Solano around second, on his way to third, and he's going to get there. Boy, a minute ago he was just sitting on the bench watching the game. And then next thing you know, he's asked to run from first to third. He probably didn't get a chance to really limber up as Rojas went out.
Oh, you gotta love baseball. The ball will find you. It's like you put a guy in the game for defense, and the first ball gets hit to him so often. Then the guy comes in cold off the bench, got a pinch run, and he has to go to first to third on an overthrow.
Pete McCannon is out, and he's going to, or excuse me, it's Bob McClure, and he's going to talk to Freitas. There is action in the Phillies bullpen. Still a 5-5 game, and that's obviously a big run that's 90 feet away right now. Elvis Araujo. In the Phillies pen.
Nice job there, Rich. I was hoping you took it because I wasn't feeling that confident in it yet.
I'm still not very confident in that. There's Solano at third. Mathis hits it hard, diving stop there. Galvis throws to first, and a terrific play by Galvis robs Mathis of a hit and the Marlins of a run. Freddie Galvis can really play. Still halfway through 5-5. Solano stays in the ball game, in for Miguel Rojas. We'll try to get word on Rojas. He, just from the looks of it, he looked ill as he left the ball game. Ben Revere, our Toyota trend since 2013. No Philly has more hits, surprisingly, than Ben Revere. Not surprisingly, one of the results is the Phillies have really scuffled. Last year, Philadelphia 73 and 89, the same record as 2013. And Revere leads it off against Dan Herron. For all the runs and the pitching changes on the Phillies end, Herron is still standing. His breaking ball misses up in a 5-5 game in the bottom of the fifth. This will be pitch number 70 for Herron, who gave up 2 homers, 2 doubles, and all 5 runs in that second inning, and that falls in for a hit. Gillespie knocks it down. Revere leads off the fifth with a single. He brings up Cesar Hernandez.
Good swing there by Ben Revere. Continues his good hitting against Herron with 2 more hits today. adding to that 391 average that he came into the game with against Herron. Now he's got to deal with the other good on-base guy for the Phillies, Cesar Hernandez.
And that's part of Hernandez's game that the Phillies really like. The 360 on base coming in. 22 bags for Revere. He's at first. Prado looks bunt at third, and here it comes. It's a good one. Better hurry. Prado's throw is not in time. He's safe. McGee points to the dugout and asks the Marlins to take a look at this one. It was bang bang.
I actually thought he got him with the naked eye. We'll see.
That's John Hirschbeck down at first base. This, as an umpire, is almost impossible to tell. We're watching it in slow motion, and I can't tell from that.
That's tough. Oof. Maybe safe.
It looks safe from there. Back of the glove.
He's safe. I'm going to say they're not going to say there's enough to overturn that. If there's anything I would like to see more first basemen do, is on that play to have them come more towards the home plate side of first base. A lot of first basemen take that play and they keep their foot in the middle of the bag, where you're still going to be on the inside part of the bag, but just slide closer to home plate, and you're going to cut down some distance on that throw.
So a bunt base hit, and now Herron all of a sudden has to get it together. Mikel Franco.
You see Casey's foot there still in the middle of the bag. If he just slides up that 8 or 10 inches or so to the very front of the bag.
Echeverria towards the bag, has it, got the bag, got the double play. Spectacular play by Echeverria, who had to contort his body to get to the bag, and in the same motion start the throw and avoid the slide, and he did all of those things, and he did them quite well.
I don't know how Cesar Hernandez doesn't beat him to the bag right there. That's a great job by Etch. It almost looked like Hernandez was thinking about taking him out instead of getting to the bag, and he was trying to figure out where Etch was going, and that allowed Echeverria to get time to get to the bag there, because I thought Cesar Hernandez was going to beat this play. But you see right there, and Etch does get his foot down just in time, but as a base runner, you got to recognize the speed of the ball and what's going on, and I think right there was a play where a young base runner was maybe more concerned about trying to break up the double play than getting to second base, and cost himself an opportunity to reach safely at second.
Echeverria's had a really, really nice year defensively, and it's going to be interesting if Etch keeps this up. I think that clipped Howard. It did. He's on his way to first. If Etch keeps this up, the Gold Glove voting is really going to be interesting. I know Simmons is a guy that's won a couple in a row.
Man, we see this night after night, how well he does so many things. Look at the body control to get back up. Yeah, he just gets it down the angle that he throws from and gets enough on the throw to get Mikel Franco, who runs decently. He may not be as speedy as Cesar Hernandez, but he runs pretty well.
There's your fielding percentage. Etch, a guy that leads in that category that we talk about, good plays minus bad plays minus errors. Kind of a Bill James, Mark Simon formula. Etch has more good plays than any shortstop over the last 2 years by far. Now Brown, and he takes in. Dominic Brown has popped out twice. Herron at 77 pitches. And he pops this one up. It's Solano, and he makes the catch. And Dan Herron gets out of the fifth. Still 5-5. 2010, Donnie Murphy's first pinch hit home run, a 2-run 9th inning game winner against Colorado. That's brought to you by Geico. That was before he was Donnie Bleepin' Murphy. The next game-winning hit he had, which was shortly thereafter, he became Donnie Bleepin' Murphy. Murphy had some big moments as a Marlin in 10 and 11.
Donnie Murphy's one of those guys who found a way to have some big moments for the Marlins. You know, probably a guy that wasn't as talented as some of the other guys that they had, but worked hard, worked really hard.
And so the Phillies bring in Elvis Araujo. There's a strike to Heron. Araujo, I've been told.
Araujo.
So let it be known. Elvis is in the building. Elvis Araujo. Got Ichiro and Martin Prado following Heron, who leads it off here in the 6th. And Araujo gets strike 2. Heron drove in a run with a sacrifice bunt. Not necessarily a squeeze, but a first and third little push bunt up the first base line. Scored Cole Gillespie back in the 2nd. Look out.
Ooh, no professional courtesy in that 0-2 pitch. Usually pitchers don't like buzzing the tower like that against the other pitcher.
Another fastball from Araujo. And a strikeout. Up comes Ichiro, and up comes the latest installment of Inside the Marlins, Road to Recovery. Documents Jose Fernandez rehab from Tommy John surgery. Step by step through the process, interviews with Jose, those closest to him during that journey, and that's after Marlins Live postgame today. Our Jessica Blaylock hosting that show. Ichiro takes outside. Nice day for Ichiro. 2 for 3. The 2-0. Ichiro in the leadoff spot, and he's been there, and he'll probably be there a lot until D. Gordon walks back through the doors. That one fouled back. Gordon with that thumb injury. I think tomorrow's a big day for a lot of Marlins. Henderson Alvarez, another rehab start. Giancarlo Stanton sees a hand specialist. A chance for D. Gordon to test the strength in that thumb. Ichiro sprays it to short. Galvis around it, and his throw is just in time for the second out of this 6th inning. Two very good shortstops in this series defensively. Galvis has made some really nice plays. That play on Mathis to end the 5th kept it at 5-5. Of course, Echeverria seems to sparkle wherever he goes defensively. Prado's 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, and a pop out. Stomach nausea for Miguel Rojas. Rojas leaving while he was on base, replaced by Donovan Solano.
Well, at least he got him a knock, another knock before he had to go back into the clubhouse. That's good.
Yeah, if you're going to get sick, you want to get sick after you're 2 for 3. Phillies pen active. Luis Garcia. Popped up. Howard now backing up. Howard makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning. Still 5-5 in Philly. The heat has taken its toll on the Marlins. USAA honors all of our service members at home and abroad. We welcome all of you who are watching, who are Armed Forces service members. Today, we honor you. John Tumpane is the home plate umpire. We saw Miguel Rojas of the Marlins already leave the game with nausea. And Tumpane getting some first aid from his teammates to tuck that towel in. You can see the towel is still up and under that polo of his. Looking like Jim Otto.
You get a feel for the umpires, especially the home plate umpire, because he's wearing the most gear.
Odubel Herrera, high and deep, and foul.
I mean, other than the catcher, that home plate umpire has on the most gear on the field.
And he doesn't get to go sit in the clubhouse. And a lot of catchers will go in and change 2 or 3 times their uniform during a game like this. Go sit in the air-conditioned clubhouse just to cool off. Herrera sends another one. Nice decision there by the ball girl. Get the stool, get out of the way. Now get the ball.
You know, if it's close enough where you're not sure, just let it go and then pick it up. Seen way too many ball girls and ball guys down the line get concerned about making that nice play and end up fielding a fair ball.
That was a good read because it was headed right at her. Herrera takes down low. Odubel Herrera is lined out and doubled. Still a 5-5 game, and still Dan Herron pitching, which is impressive. To right, Ichiro is there, and he makes the catch. So an out here in the 6th inning. Parents, you can host your child's birthday party at a Marlins game. Choose between our all-new celebration. I can't believe it's your birthday, and I'm reading this, and we're here. I mean, we should have timed this so this was Marlins Park, and you could do your birthday. I know a sea creature birthday is what you really wanted.
You know what? I am a big scuba diver, so I really like the whole nautical theme. And, yeah, maybe me and the stone crab hang out a little bit.
Well, you wore your Julio the Octopus tie here. How sweet is that?
I like him. He's a little handsy, though. Yeah, me and the Stone Crab would get along a little better. Julio the Octopus, he's a little handsy.
1-877 Marlins, by the way, to tag that announcement. Nice play by Etch. See, look at this. Now, I was afraid. It's his birthday, and he showed up in a suit, so there's the obvious joke there. But the bow tie, terrific. The fact that it matched the Fanatic. If you weren't with us, the Fanatic came in here and hijinks ensued for 4 or 5 minutes with Preston on his birthday. But congratulations on the birthday.
Thanks, man. It's nice to be able to be around baseball. I spent so many years on the field playing for my birthday, and now I get to spend another birthday at a Major League ballpark. It's a lot of fun for me.
Well, it'd be nice if the Marlins would win a game for you on your birthday. I remember you and I calling a series in Milwaukee 2 years ago, a 3-game series. The Marlins were swept and didn't score a run. And the last game was extra innings.
I want to thank you for bringing that up, Rich. It's very kind of you to point out my shortcomings as far as wins in the booth.
We have nothing to do with it, my friend. Here's Carlos Ruiz. And he takes a strike.
But at least the Marlins have scored runs this series. That was a tough series to call with no runs. And the Marlins just could not get it going against that Brewers team.
Herron's 1-2. If the Marlins get 6 innings out of Dan Herron, and this game is still tied at 5-5, it will be a big win for Herron, for the Marlins, and for the bullpen. Right back at him. Herron snares it. And Dan Herron, after giving up 5 runs in the second, straightens it out, gets through 6, and it's 5-5. The back, 5-5 ball game as we go to the 7th in Philly. As promised, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag it FL Data Strong. It's a chance to be featured in upcoming telecast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Mary. Thank you, Mary. Mary Ann. Luis Garcia into the ball game. And the Phillies, in the process, have also made some changes out in the field. It looks like Odubel Herrera is the odd man out in this double switch. Jeff Francoeur is going to come in, and Francoeur will be in the pitcher's spot. And that pushes Ben Revere over into center field. So it's Francoeur, Revere, and Brown in the outfield for the Phillies. Christian Yelich will greet this right-hander. And he takes a breaking ball. A walk, an RBI single, a run scored, and a 1-for-2 day for Yelich. Chopper out to second. Hernandez on the outfield grass gets Yelich. Casey McGee now. It was a wild inning and a half early in the ball game. Marlins got to Cole Hamels. He wasn't sharp. A 2-0 lead, and then Dan Herron got rocked for 2 homers and 2 doubles and 5 runs. The Marlins then got 3 more against Hamels, and it was 5-5. McGee takes a strike. Hamels lasted just 3 innings, but as we talked about, to Dan Herron's credit, he was able to put it together, string some outs together, and get through 6 without giving up another run. For all the no decisions that Herron has, and 5 of his no decisions he's given up 2 runs or less, it would be justice, wouldn't it, if the Marlins would get a couple runs here and end up winning the ball game?
Yes, it would.
McGee, a chopper, Franco. 2 outs. Midsummer Classic comes to Miami. It's in 2017. You can get ticketing updates, breaking news, all the information leading up to the All-Star Week and All-Star Game in Miami in 2017. Marlins.com/ASG, the place to go. Echeverria now, 2 for 3. Then off the end of the bat, Francoeur just in the game plants himself and makes the catch. And Garcia works a brief 7th inning. 7th inning stretch on a hot and muggy day in Philly, 5-5.
It was all about the food, and check this out. We are at one of my favorite stops, Federal Donuts, because you can come here and get that perfect combination of salty and sweet. Take a look at this. You've got buttermilk ranch chicken. You've got chili garlic chicken. You've got all these different donuts, vanilla, cinnamon, sugar, honey. The best part about this, calories don't count on the road, right? At least that's what I'm hoping, because I am about to dig into this, and I know it is going to be delicious.
It's the moment we've been waiting for.
I didn't want to consume all of these calories myself. And by the way, the birthday celebration continues. Birthday Philly cheesesteak. One for you as well. No onions. And come on. You didn't think I was going to leave you out when it came to the chicken and the donuts.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, so you've got your garlic ranch. This one's a little bit spicy. Vanilla donuts. Cinnamon sugar donuts, honey donuts, and like I said, calories don't count on the road or on your birthday. So double bonus.
See, this is when I know this is family right here, because y'all know how much I love to eat. And this just strikes the chord right here and right here, but
happy
right here too.
Birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
And they know you over there. I'm sure they recognize that this was for you. You made the big food tour 2 years ago here.
Oh, yeah. I'm known pretty well in all the eateries around the National League now for my tours and just grubbing all over the place.
Hey, Jessica,
continues.
Question for you. How have you stayed cool out here? We've seen fans battle the heat.
Right.
Miguel Rojas left because of the heat. The umpires are battling it right now. You look like you just stepped right out of an air-conditioned trailer or something.
Tricks of the television trade. Refreshed the makeup once I got up here. Fanned myself to dry out all the sweat stains on my dress. I've been watching the game with my hair up in a ponytail, with the suiting jacket off, trying to stay as cool as I can in the shade because it is very, very hot down on the field today.
Well, we're headed to Arizona where it's well over 100 degrees today. Brian Morris is in. Jessica, thank you for the delivery. Thanks for the food.
You got it. I might sneak a donut with me. Take it back
please
down.
do. You talk about how hot it is. You look down at the Marlins dugout. There's only one or two guys standing up at that fence. Everybody else is behind the bench in the shade, trying to stay out of that heat that's so hot down there.
Well, they do have some fans down in that dugout and a chance for everybody to cool down.
I'm going to do my best to not get barbecue sauce or donut glaze on this microphone right now.
It's a small fan, and the security guard, I don't think anyone's going to kick him out of there, right?
He's making sure he stays cool. He's like, if you guys get in the air, it'd have to be around me.
Jeff Francoeur up. Brian Morris delivers, and Francoeur lines it into right field. Now, that's not a pinch-hitting appearance. Francoeur came in the double switch. But it feels like a pinch-hitting appearance, and boy, has Francoeur been really good at that. He had the pinch-hit 3-run homer against the Marlins on Friday night. He's 8 for 16. And so he knocks one into right field and leads off the 7th with a hit.
That's a good-looking swing, too, the right field line drive. After pulling the homer the other night against Mike Dunn, to take that line drive into right field. Whatever he's doing right now is working for him because he's having good, consistent at-bats.
Ben Revere, top of the order. Now, the Marlins in this series have not been able to field a bunt with much success. Hernandez had the hit in the 5th. Remember the bunt play that was so key in the Jose Fernandez start. And you might have Revere bunting here. He does, pops it up, and Prado in pursuit. It's a strike, it's 0-1.
Anytime a team is sacked bunting, you have to make sure you get one out. You don't have to make the special double play that's all exciting, but when a team is giving you an out, you take it. And earlier in this series, the Marlins were not able to do that.
Well, Prado creeping in at third. McGee holding Francoeur at first. Chopper, Solano freezes the runner and then gets the out, although that's in question as McGee made the catch. The Phillies will certainly look at it.
That's a bad decision. You always want to get the lead runner because now by not getting the lead runner, you've effectively allowed them to sacrifice bunt. Take the lead runner. If you don't get the guy at first, fine, but he is too far. The runner is too close to second base to throw that ball and then hope that that throw is going to come back and get him. Casey does look like he stayed on the bag right there, but that's a mental mistake by Donovan Solano to not take that out and just tag Francoeur, and so what if you don't get Ben Revere? So be it. But you have to get the lead runner right there. Those are the type of mental mistakes that the Marlins have been making this whole series, and it's got to be driving Dan Jennings absolutely mad.
And so a strike to Hernandez. The count's 0-1. Yeah, you're right. And speed of the runner counts in that equation as well. You've got Revere who can really run. It was a high chopper. Now Francoeur's in scoring position. And Morris gets a strike. It's 0-2.
Of the three options that you would think a second baseman would do there, you have run up and tag the runner. You have pitch the ball back to shortstop, let him get the force out at second. And then you have the worst option, which is not tag the runner and throw the ball to first base. And unfortunately, Donovan Solano chose the worst of the three.
0-2. Well, Morris had the real nice inning on Friday and then came back out to pitch the 8th. Gave up a hit and a walk, got an out. Mike Dunn in Miami's pen. Oh, 2 pitch. Little looper, and it's going to fall. It's a hit, and the decision at second is a costly one. Safe at second on a slide is Hernandez, and it didn't look like the Marlins were ready for that throw either.
They were not. I don't know if the throw was wide or not, but Edgar Varela cut off the throw. Donovan Solano was actually late getting to the bag right there. They look like plays are catching them by surprise. In baseball, one of your biggest weapons is your anticipation. Thinking of a play before it happens. Right now, the Marlins look like they're in a mode where the plays are happening and they're surprising them by what's going on. I don't know if that throw would have been on line for Echeverria. It's a really tough angle for us to see. But it just didn't look like the thought of that ball being a play at second base was in their minds right there.
Yeah, I don't know that throw was on line after second review. But Hernandez double, a hustle double, pays off for the Phillies. And the decision to not get Francoeur and go for Revere is really costly. Here's Franco now, and there's one out. It's 6-5 Phillies. Ball in the dirt. Mathis smothers it. Two and one. It's one of those runs that's an earned run, but in reality, it's an unearned run. There's no error, at least not in the scoreboard. Maikel Franco, who's 0 for 3.
When you have a series where you've lost the first 2 games, even though you've out-hit your opponent, that's frustrating. When you have a game like this, when you battle back into it after being down 5-2 and after the bottom of the second inning, you come back and score 3 in the top of the third, tie the game up. Your pitcher does a great job stretching his outing out to 6 innings, and then a simple mental mistake like that costs you a run.
Up the middle, Solano there. Gets the out at first. It advances Hernandez 90 feet. But with 2 outs now, it's Ryan Howard. Dan Jennings, remember the other night, brought in Mike Dunn to face Howard in this spot. We'll see if there's a repeat performance. Dunn is ready. And here comes Jennings. And so the Marlins will make this change. Morris will come out. Wes Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Fish Family, exclusive loyalty program of Marlin fans. You can learn more, or you can log in. You can do both. Go to marlins.com/fishfamily. Get the Fish Family members code, which you get. It's your bonus code. There it is. It's pitcher. Marlins.com/fishfamily. Ryan Howard to face Mike Dunn. Howard not having a great year against lefties. A National League low 134. And Dunn struck Howard out on Friday night. Of course, remember, that was for the second out. Jeff Francoeur came in to pinch hit and hit a 3-run homer. Liner right at Solano, who makes the catch. But the Phillies get a run and lead it 6-5. this ballpark. It's Christmas in July. Looks like Santa's been on a strict diet. I think he's doing the whole paleo thing. And it's hot. Our HH, Greg, high-def highlights. Very nice. Miguel Rojas, and this is not a joking matter, had to leave the ball game. The home plate umpire, John Tumpain, has taken some liquids. Got the ammonia towel around his neck. It's Rojas leaving. 95 degrees. It is hot and it's humid, and the Fanatic, God bless him, has hung in there the whole ball game with all that Fanatic fur flying around, of which he got a lot on Preston Wilson, by the way. Yes, the folks in our booth just pointed out, if Santa wants to fatten up, he should just come by the booth where the chicken, the donuts, the cheesesteaks.
Yeah, pitch and changes are good for us right now. We can dive into our snacks here.
Birthday cake for Preston. Marlins need a run now. They're down 6-5. And in getting the lead, it allows the Phillies to get to that back end of the bullpen, which, as the Marlins have seen, is very good. Ken Giles, Jonathan Papelbon. It's Giles first, Cole Gillespie, Derek Dietrich. That one fouled back to the screen. And then Jeff Mathis.
And I would say Giles is the Phillies' answer to the Marlins' Carter Capps. Big, hard-throwing right-hander, can hit triple digits, and is a strikeout machine.
And fastball in. Yeah, he's routinely hit 99. He did hit 100 in his appearance last night. Giles and Papelbon have worked in both games of this series. Marlins got a run off Papelbon on the Real Muto homer on Friday, and that's it. Breaking ball and a pop-up, and it ends up foul. Carlos Ruiz, an interesting look there behind the plate. He's one of the catchers that wears his helmet forward, and it helps him. He's got the sunglasses on as well. Most catchers will have the bill of the cap pointing back, but you can manipulate the mask if you've got that old-time mask, as he does, so that he'll pop it on and the bill of the cap stays right underneath and fits right underneath the mask. One-two pitch. Gillespie gets a barrel down and stays alive. Couple hits, an RBI. Gillespie has 4 hits in the series. By all accounts, Giles should make a really good closer. Gillespie drives it to left. Francour's got a great arm. Gillespie will test it. Here's the throw, and he is in there. Just got in there.
Cole Gillespie continues to impress. A tough pitcher like Giles to come in and that spot in the ball game in the 8th inning, get in scoring position with one swing of the bat, see him stay through that breaking ball that really doesn't do much there for Giles. Test the arm of a guy who's known for having a strong arm like Francour, beats out a hustle double, and puts the Marlins in a position where now they can either play small ball, advance the runner over to try to get in the third, or they got 3 shots now to get a base hit with a man on second base.
Well, with the lefty bat like Dietrich, you could just try to pull the ball and maybe knock it through the infield and kill 2 birds with that one stone. Mathis is on deck. Real Muto and Bohr are your pinch hitting options.
Well, what happens with Dietrich right now is going to determine whether Mathis gets this at bat or not. If Dietrich is able to get the job done and drive this run, and Mathis may stay in the game. But if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure they're going to pinch hit for Mathis.
Remember when when the Marlins brought Rojas out of the game, they brought Solano in the game. But now they're pinch hitting for Solano with Dietrich. You see his last 4 games. And he's been good in this spot in a pinch. And he sends that one out into shallow center, and it drops for a hit. Picked up quickly, though. Dietrich around first will hold there. And it's a pinch hit single for Derek Dietrich. Gillespie's now at third, and now it looks like Mathis will get the at-bat.
Great job by Dietrich. This may be a little bit nitpicky, but when you see both the second baseman and the shortstop go out for that ball, you keep going hard because the only person you have to beat to second base is the really slow-running Ryan Howard. He could have gotten a cheap double right there, I believe, if he keeps going full speed.
As it is, at the corners, and now Mathis against the hard-throwing Ken Giles. Justin Bour is on deck. Mathis off the end of the bat floats it foul and out of play. Now Michael Morse is on the bench. The issue here for Dan Jennings is, had he pinch hit for Mathis, he needs 2 pinch hitters in a row. Phillies infield up the middle, looking like they're playing for 2. Swing and a miss.
It is 2 pinch hitters in a row, but when you got a chance to tie the game up, you go with your best bolts, especially when you got to get Justin Bour the at bat, and however you got to manipulate it to get Real Muto put in at the catching spot because you're going to pinch hit for Mathis. I think you take that chance, and especially the way that Mathis's at-bats have looked in this game. He has not looked very good, and this pitcher is going to be tough for a guy like him because the velocity is so great, and with that breaking ball, it's just not a good matchup for Mathis.
Giles misses away a fastball at 97. So a lot of things going on in this ball game, plus the fact that the Marlins brought Solano in for a couple innings just on defense. He never hit, so they've lost Solano going forward. Dietrich obviously would go into that spot and play either second or third. Dietrich's at first, Gillespie's at third, and a throw over. Chases Dietrich back.
Yeah, it's not often you see a player go in for another player and then never even get an at-bat. Because it's almost like you burn 2 players for 1 spot in that scenario.
Giles thought he had it. Ruiz kind of flinched. Here's the pitch with Fox Tracks. We'll see.
Slider that went. That ball looked like it's a strike. It's right in the strike zone.
It is.
But it's one of those where we talked about it earlier. It was so far away from the catcher, from where the catcher was set up, he doesn't get the call.
That's a break for the Marlins and a break for Mathis. Here's the 2-2. Mathis to left. Great arm out there. Francoeur makes the catch. Here comes Gillespie. Here's the throw, and he's safe. The ball hits him, and it bounces to the screen. Moving up to second is Dietrich, and the Marlins have tied it. Terrific effort by Jeff Mathis.
Great job by Mathis hanging in there on the slider on frankly a matchup that wasn't really much in his favor, and he did a good job hanging in there, hitting this slider. If I'm the Phillies, I got to be a little bit concerned. Cole Gillespie hit a double on the slider. Jeff Mathis hits a sac fly on the slider. You got a guy who throws 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, and he's getting beat with the game on the line with his second best pitch. The other side of that play, I really like the way Cole Gillespie slides straight through the plate. He doesn't worry about where the catcher is. He slides straight through the plate, feet first. He doesn't try that reach around hand slide, straight line down the line, and great play to be safe. But
you saw the throw from Francoeur clipped him in the leg. Francoeur will get an error. Mathis gets a sacrifice fly. You can see Gillespie is absolutely gassed. It's hot. It's humid. The Marlins have lost one player to the heat already.
This is like Saturday or Sunday baseball in South Carolina when I used to go out and play with my uncles, where it's 98 degrees and 100% humidity, and you just out there playing because you love the game and you never even thought about how hot it was. But I'm looking at the guys down there, and you're seeing a lot of really sweaty jerseys. You're seeing guys moving really slow. It takes a toll on him.
Here is Bohr. No sweat on his jersey. He's new to the game. Pinch hitting here in the 8th. Dietrich, the runner at second, and a strike to Bohr. Got Ichiro on deck.
Big man didn't like that call, and for good reason. That's a ball off the plate.
Pitch misses out. It's a ball and a strike. A great July for Justin Bohr. Only Carlos Gomez has driven in more runs in the National League, and Ryan Howard with his home run today, now with a dozen. Bohr gets a breaking ball and pulls it foul. So it's 6-6 now.
John Tumpane behind the plate. You feel for a guy like this on a day like today because of the heat, because he doesn't get a break off the field. And even though you don't like it, it's understandable that late in the game he may miss a pitch or two, because it's really oppressive heat down there.
That one fouled off. I've seen games where the umpiring crew has actually replaced the home plate umpire because of the heat. And as we noted, I mean, as tough as it is for Carlos Ruiz and Jeff Mathis to catch on a day like this, they get to every half inning go sit down, get some refreshment. They can go to the clubhouse and change. They can sit in the clubhouse in the AC for 5-10 minutes. But as a home plate umpire, you got the gear on, and there's no place to hide, and there's no break.
And he's essentially got on football mini shoulder pads, is what it looks like.
Bohr stays alive. One of the breakthroughs for Justin Bohr that has kept him in the big leagues initially this season was his ability as a pinch hitter. He did not have success at that last year. Was much better as a starter. But this year, the Marlins able to keep him on the bench initially, and then once he got into the starting lineup, he's hit. And he chases a high fastball at 97, strikes out.
That's one of those at-bats where we talked about Christian Yelich earlier, constantly being on time. His setup was really late there. By the time his foot got down, the ball was on top of him, and it was that panic hack. That's something that, as a hitter, you constantly fight, being ready on time and having that rhythm, so that way that swing that you work on comes out to play in the game. And it's not that panic swing, pull the ripcord, try to get a piece of it like you saw there by Justin Bohr.
Ichiro now. You still have Dietrich out at second. And a fastball up from Ken Giles. 6-game streak, and you see it's 8 for his last 19. Dietrich a single after the Gillespie double. Jeff Mathis with a line drive sacrifice fly. 6-6.
And it may sound counterintuitive, but the hardest thing to do when you get started late is to not swing. I've only seen one player that was able to just shut down his swing when he knew he wasn't right in the rhythm at the plate, and that was Barry Bonds. Almost every other player, when their setup is late and they see the ball, the human nature is to swing.
Well, right now they're burying breaking balls in on Ichiro. Count 1-2. Third day in a row the Marlins have had to face Giles. They scored a run off him Friday, and a run here has tied the game. Fastball, Ichiro lines at center field. That ball's going to drop. It's a hit. Here comes Dietrich. Here comes the throw, and he scores. And a 3-hit day for Ichiro. The Marlins make it 7-6.
Nice job, Ichiro, dropping that ball out there and getting to Ken Giles, who has been great for the Phillies this year. Pitch up in the zone. He's able to lob it out there in front of Ben Revere, who does his best to make the throw. Dietrich does a great job getting that read off the bat, going with 2 outs. As soon as the ball makes contact, he's going. Good job. Safe easily.
There's some big hits and some great at-bats here against Giles. One of the better 8th-inning guys you'll find in baseball. Gillespie's double to open it. Dietrich a pinch hit single, and then Mathis behind the count 0-2 hung in there. Got it in the air and deep enough and left to score a run. Now Ichiro, who's a threat to run here. Miami has the lead. That was close. And the Marlins, as they have done throughout this series, out hitting the Phillies, even though they've lost the first 2 games. Out hitting them 13-9 in this one. Pitch to Prado is a strike. Giles already at 23 pitches. Now it's the back end of Miami's bullpen that's getting ready. Carter caps, and then the hope is that it's A.J. Ramos with a lead in the 9th. It's top 8 here. Ball's underneath Ruiz. Ichiro thought about it, but Giles has been worried about Ichiro. He's 2-1 on Prado. Yelich and McGee behind Prado. Giles thought that one was a strike, and it's 3-1. It was just up.
Giles is pitching a lot with his breaking ball right now, and it's a little surprising for a guy who has that type of velocity. Maybe he doesn't feel like he has the command of his fastball, but he's putting himself in some tough situations.
Ichiro runs, and Prado punches it into right. Around second, Ichiro on his way to third. Boy, the Marlins have done that quite well in this game, and that's hit behind a runner. And Prado has his 2nd hit of the ball game, his 5th hit in the last 2 games.
And if you're Giles, you put yourself in this situation. You put yourself in a 3-1 count by going to your breaking ball. You've given up a leadoff double, a sac fly on your breaking ball. He's a fastball pitcher.
Well, Pete Buchanan has a decision to make here with Giles. This is his third straight day of work, and his pitch count sits at 27 pitches. And so how much longer do you stay with him? He does have an arm, and looks like it's ready in the Phillies pen right now. And Yelich stands in, shoots a ground ball out to short. Galvis to first in time, but Miami gets two. First they tie it with Mathis and take the lead with Ichiro. Been a wild one. It was wild early, then settled down thanks to Dan Herron, who retired 8 in a row after giving up a 5 spot in the second. Phillies took the lead in the 7th, and then the Marlins bounced right back. Jeff Mathis, a sacrifice fly, and then Ichiro, an RBI single, a 3-hit day for Ichiro in the leadoff spot, and the Marlins have a 7-6 lead. And so now, for the first time in this series, the Marlins can line up the back of their bullpen and bring in Carter Capps to start an inning. And if everything holds the way the Marlins hope it does, A.J. Ramos in the 9th. Now Derek Dietrich had the pinch hit, and Dietrich is at third base, and that pushes Prado over to second. Dominic Brown fouls it off. Brown, that all-star season in 2013, had a dozen homers in May. 27 homers in that season. Since the break in 13, he has just 14 homers. And a guy that the Phillies saw, remember they traded away Hunter Pence. They saw Brown as maybe a younger guy that could fill that role, and it just hasn't happened. Pence has gone on to win 2 world championships with the San Francisco Giants and proved to be a team leader and not only a cult hero in San Francisco, but a terrific addition to the Giants. See Cody Ashe on deck. Capps has thrown 3 pitches here, and that's longer than his last relief outing. Breaking ball, line to right. Ichiro patrolling out there, and he makes the catch. Well, tomorrow's baseball day starts with the South Florida Honda Dealers presentation of Marlins Live. Carl Pavano, Craig Minervini in the studio. Marlins are in the desert to take on the Snakes. They'll go from hot and humid to really, really hot and less humidity. David Phelps, Ruby De La Rosa for the Snakes. Please welcome Cody Ashe. This is the pitcher spot in the Phillies order. We've seen Ashe out in left field in a couple of games. Hector Neris in the bullpen. Caps with a slider that misses.
Looks like he wants the fastball here.
100 miles an hour. Not a problem getting loose today. Mid-90s temperature, high humidity. And another triple-digit fastball.
I heard the heat index today was said to be in the triple digits, as far as it felt like it was over 100 degrees, even though the temperature itself was in the mid-90s.
And he finishes him at 98 miles an hour. So 2 outs for Carter Capps. Freddie Galvis coming up.
This pitch has so much life on it. You see it just explode right at the end there, a little tail. And even if he didn't swing at it, like it just caught the outside of the strike zone. But that, to me, is a good illustration of the difference in how Giles pitched his half inning and how Carter Capps is going about his half inning. Both of these guys are very similar to me. Hard throwers, decent breaking ball, but can get the ball up there triple digits.
Marlins are going to catch a break in Phoenix, it looks like, weather-wise. Speaking of triple digits, it is 91 degrees and cloudy right now in Phoenix, believe it or not. And tomorrow the high is just 102.
I've had spring training in Arizona. I'm not sure I've ever seen it cloudy there. It just rains out of nowhere, or it's the highest, most clear blue sky you ever want to see.
Well, the weather app doesn't lie, my friend. 0-2 pitch to Galvis. And Carter Capps does what he does best. Strikes out a pair here in the 8th to the 9th. 7-6 Miami. For more information or find a participating dealer, go to FloridaCubota.dealers.com. And by Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. 7-6, Marlins on top of the Phillies. The Fish will be headed west into Arizona. Phoenix staying in Scottsdale for a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks that starts tomorrow. It's our Lexus of Pembroke Pines upcoming schedule. Then 4 in the gas lamp against the Padres. Home for the Nationals and Padres and Mets. It's a nice homestand. Nationals, Padres, Mets. Hector Neris for the Phillies. For Miami, after losing the first 2 games here in Philly, an opportunity, a 1-run lead going into the 9th. Casey McGee swings and misses. McGee an 0 for 4 day, which is frustrating. But the good part is guys around him have picked him up. 14 total hits for Miami in this ballgame. Ichiro has 3. Cole Gillespie has 3. Miguel Rojas, before he left with nausea, has 2. You see Ramos amidst the nice flowers out there, which are holding up in this heat impressively. McGee out to center. And there's 1 out here in the 9th inning. Here comes Adeiny Echeverria. When this all started some 3 hours ago, it was a matchup of Cole Hamels and Dan Herron, and the storyline was it might be the last game for each in their respective uniforms. Hamels, who has been, I guess, trade bait, use whatever word, the target of other teams, not just this year, but even stretching back to last year when the Phillies were fading. Trading deadlines coming up. Phillies have a series against the Rays, and then they hit the road. So many thought around town that this could be the last start in this park as a Philly. And of course, Dan Herron going for Miami. Herron, not nearly as associated with his club as Hamels is. 10 years for Hamels. Still a valued member of the rotation this year. The most consistent starter the Marlins have had. Hamels came out, wobbled. Herron came out and wobbled. But it was Herron that hung around for 6 innings. Hamels lasted just 3. Backhanded, Galvis across, safe.
Well, you knew that was going to be a tough play. Whenever the shortstop has to go to his backhand and try to get a short hop, and he doesn't have time to plant and throw with a speedy runner like Echeverria, there's not much. Freddie Galvis did everything that he could do on that play. He did everything right. Unfortunately, the play was just really difficult. And he made it close, extremely close.
Yeah, close enough where I think the Phillies may challenge this.
I don't blame him. It's worth looking at.
He looked, for the naked eye, it looked like he had beaten it. From this view, and he looks out. The hard part for an umpire is a ball in the dirt, because that disrupts their sequence of watching the base and listening for the ball in the glove. Boy, it's close. It's tough to tell back of the glove from that angle. This is a better look.
This may be one of those plays where even though it appears that the play beat him, they may not feel confident saying that they see enough to overturn it.
I think they see enough.
Looked like I saw an overturn in the lip reading segment of this show. Yes.
He's out. And so 2 outs No hit for Echeverria. Another fine play by Galvis. The shortstop play in this series has been really, really good by these two, Echeverria and Galvis.
That's quite a play with a base runner who runs that well. Shortstop ranging towards third base, has the backhand pick a short hop, throw off balance, and get enough on the throw to beat him by less than half a step.
Gillespie takes out. It's almost like you want to change the language to not beat him by a step or beat him by half a step, but beat him by a frame or beat him by a couple frames.
That's what it's going to come to now with the new high definition extra slow-mo that we have. We can really break it down that much now. And I know there are some baseball purists that don't like the replay, and I'm sure they will refine the replay process to make it run even smoother and quicker. Remember, football didn't get it right all in 1 year or 2 years. But for me, I want to get the call right.
Gillespie sends it out to right center. Revere makes the catch, and the Marlins are done in the ninth. A.J. Ramos will try to finish this long, hot day in Philly. To save a ball game in this series. The Phillies winners on Friday, winners last night. The Marlins, in a back and forth battle, have a 7-6 lead in the bottom of the ninth inning here. And if Ramos can save it, he will win it for Mike Dunn, who threw all of one pitch. That was the line drive off the bat of Ryan Howard that ended the seventh inning. So it's lined up perfectly now for Dan Jennings. Carter Capps was his usual stifling self. A scoreless eighth with 2 strikeouts. And here is Ramos. Carlos Ruiz. Jeff Francoeur. And then Ben Revere. Ramos with a breaking ball for a strike. Ruiz an 0 for 2 day. A couple of home runs this year.
Since Ramos has gotten that closer job, He's gone 14 out of 15 in save opportunities. And it's just been absolutely great with his slider, changeup, fastball. To have a closer that has 3 quality pitches is such an unusual thing. Usually they have 2 good pitches and then a show-me pitch, something just to take your mind off of the other 2 pitches. They don't really pitch with it. Ramos is much different.
That one to the screen, and it's 3-1.
As he hits the hot dog in the background.
It's not quite as glamorous as hitting the bull in Durham, but it'll do on this hot day in Philly. So Ramos trying to get settled. And he lost him. Well, remember, A.J. Ramos during the All-Star break, he came back. The Marlins haven't had a need for him the first 2 ball games. Here he is on this Sunday. And you hope that whatever rust he's got, he's able to knock off pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's pitching on nearly a week's rest right now.
Now, almost all the pitchers will get some semblance of an appearance working in the bullpen. Frank Coor, who singled in the 7th.
With this game at 7-6, catcher leads off the inning. Would the Phillies consider pinch running for him, or not till he gets to second base, maybe?
Frank Coor, left field and deep, and the Phillies walk off.